I don't know.
I'll have it muted on my phone because I've got you here.
Well, they can hear you anyway.
Are they not? Am I not in your ears?
No, not on the MacBook. So you're live on the MacBook.
Right, so they can hear me either way then.
Just put my email address in here, chris.days@gomortgage.
Yeah, because I'm not sure I'm going to be too hot on that. Oh yeah, I'm just catching up now and listening to that. Right, okay, so they can hear, that's fine. I'll just have you down there. I'm just going to check. We are live on other platforms as well. Let's refresh that. Yeah. Oh, I should have done it as the phone screen, but we didn't press it, did we?
Because there's no one on everything else. It's been on a minute and there's no one on.
Okay, give it a
TikTok. So let's have a look at TikTok.
tickety-tock. You got 6.
Yeah, 7.
7 and climbing. And climbing.
There is a question on Facebook, but there's no one watching.
No, these are what I've posted. Are you in the chat part? These are the questions that people put from the story.
Right, okay.
Across the platforms that I've collected.
If you are watching on TikTok, can you just let me know if you can hear Joy in the background?
Hello, hello. Hello, TikTok. Can you hear me? Hello?
She's under the desk. Charlie Hunt, hi there. We have rented for 10 years but can't get together the large deposit. Anything we can do? Why specifically do you need a large deposit? Is it adverse credit, or do you just think you need a large deposit? You might not need a big deposit. You might get away with 5%. I need a bit more information. Trevor Escobar, are you related to Pablo? Do you know any deals for remortgage fixed rate with low deal fees? Potentially, but again, I would need a lot more information to look at mortgage rates. Nixie, can I have one of those caps? Only special people get a cap, Nixie.
I don't even have one of those caps.
Ree's got. Did I give Ree 1 or 2?
1, I think. I got the actual Go Mortgage ones. But yeah, I don't have one of those.
Potentially. Maybe
we'll do it as a giveaway.
They're actually really good caps. I have a friend who has a large company that does all this stuff. It did all our branding stuff. What's the stamp duty rate for first-time buyers? Under 250, nothing. So, Sean Jones, what's the purchase price? What are you looking to buy? Callum, not even started looking at mortgage. 22, should I be doing anything to prepare for a mortgage? There's lots you can be doing to prepare. Make sure your bank statements are nice and tidy. Get on Check My File, check your credit report. Deposit, save a nice size deposit. Get in touch with someone like myself. Go through the process. Get agreed in principle. That way, then you know exactly where you stand. It might be that you're not ready for another 6, 12, 18 months, but you can work towards things if you know what you need to do. Ryan Shepherd, can I buy a house and rent it out on a normal mortgage? No, that's called mortgage fraud, pal. You could buy a house with the intentions of living in it, and if your circumstances change, apply for a consent to let, but you can't buy a house as a residential knowing that you're going to go and rent it out. Do people do that? Yes, they do, but it is mortgage fraud. So I've got to tell you the right answer. Ellen, if we've got a decision in principle, how likely are we to get approved for the actual mortgage? we say to all our clients, just because you've got a dip doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get a mortgage. Obviously, you're on the right track. They've done a soft credit search. They've checked affordability. So basically, a dip is the lender saying, yes, we're happy to go to a full mortgage application, providing you can back everything up and there's no issues, then you'll be fine. Callum, you are welcome. Ryan, how much does a consent to rent cost? Depends on the lender. You're probably looking anything from 100 quid to 200 or 300 quid.
Got a question here.
Mm-hmm.
Is trunk on a payslip considered for lenders as part of an income?
What the hell's trunk?
Like tips from like hospitality, it's classed as trunk.
If it's consistent, so the lender's going to want to see consistency. They're not going to want to include it in affordability. If it's amazing 1 month and then you don't see it for 2 or 3 months, if you get like 100 quid every single month and it's consistent, they're more likely to consider it.
Okay. Thanks.
Is that consent to rent paid annually? Again, it depends on the lender. Some might grant a consent to let for a year, some might be 2 or 3 years. It just depends on the lender. They're all going to be different. Ryan Shepherd.
How long after an IVA is finished can I realistically go for a mortgage?
So we've got lenders that will look at it the day after, but you're going to need a deposit in the region of 25-30%. As time goes on, obviously that'll come down, providing the credit score improves and gets better. But yeah, typically 25-30% the day after. Lizzie, our equity transfer rates have changed plus length of term. What is best way to approach the bank? Depends who you bank with. Some you'll get a letter through the post, you can bring them. Some you'll be able to do it on the app. Typically for product transfers, I've done several over the last couple of weeks where I've been able to get a better rate as a broker than the client has been able to get going through the app or online. So always best checking with a broker because we can get better rates than you can get going direct. Not always, but a lot of the time. Fat Mandy, can I get You certainly can.
I like how you said that very quietly.
Jacko always does that.
Oh, Ruben does. It drives me mad.
Yeah, same. How far back do we look through bank statements? Typically 3 months. Feel like we're being told conflicting information. Lizzie, why? Andy Tudor, yo, I'm 37 and about to pay my mortgage off, but they're saying there is a charge for early payment. That will be because you're in a fixed rate period, Andy. So either wait until you might be able to make a part payment and then obviously pay it off when you're at your fixed rate, or just suck it up and pay it. Fat Monday loves the higher. Ryan Shepherd, do I have to get a mortgage through the bank I have a Help to Buy ISA with? No. Good question though. Just because you've got Help to Buy ISA with, say, Halifax, you can get a mortgage with whoever you want. The Help to Buy ISA has no impact on who you go with. Do you think rates will drop before the end of the year? No idea. Hopefully, but I haven't got a crystal ball. Not one that works anyway. Salazar, how much do overdrafts affect mortgage application? If haven't been in it for more than 6 months, you'll be fine. Lizzie, should be on discounted rate, but this is not in a place for initial transfer. Bank don't know. Should be on, I don't understand your question, Lizzie. Should be on discounted rate, but this not in place for initial transfer. Bank don't know. Who's your bank? Laura Purdy, a family member has lived in Ireland for the last 15 years and is planning on moving back here. Okay, thank you for that. Is there another part to the question? Newcastle Building Society. You need to get onto Newcastle Building Society, Lizzie, and find out what's going on. Being on a zero valuation back and forth for 4 months. Don't understand that either. How long would she need to be living before getting a mortgage? Is she Republic or Northern Ireland for starters, Laura? If it's Northern Ireland, then straight away. If it's Republic, providing she's got an address, a deposit, and an income, she should be fine. How much should you expect to make in first year as a mortgage advisor working for a company? Thanks. Depends if you're lazy, if you work hard. Depends what your leads are like. Depends what your client bank's like. I'd say if you're not doing 20 to 50 grand, there's something wrong. Will I get a high street lender mortgage if previously had 4K credit card debt years ago? If the debt's paid off, is it bad debt? Is it a default? Is it a CCJ? If it's just credit card debt that you've paid off, you're not going to have an issue. Have we got anything from anywhere else, Joy? The other platforms are poor on numbers.
They are. I've just checked the others, and there's just another one come in from the story I posted earlier. Just people weren't on. What do I need to do as a first-time buyer?
Like I said before, get hold of a bank or a broker and go through the process for starters. Make sure you've got all the correct documents. Make sure your bank statements are nice and tidy. Work on a deposit. Get on your credit file. Make sure you've got no issues on your credit file. Regularly monitor that. And the stage you need to get to is to get to an agreement in principle, get a dip done so you know exactly what you can borrow, how much it's going to cost you, find out what the process is, and work with someone like, obviously, also Go Mortgage, where we will talk you through the process. We will guide you every step of the way. Your ultimate aim is to obviously get to know what the process is, get your dip, and then that's as far as you can go until you find a property.
Yep, thank you. Oh, we just had another one in. From Fad. Do you have any information on buy to let? Plus, I had a CCJ over 10 years ago, and my credit's still increasing at a very slow rate. I've paid all my debt off.
Do I have any information on buy to let? Give me a clue. Buy to let is a mortgage where you do it with the intention to rent out the property. I mean, let me know what specific information you need. Obviously, typically, if you're doing a buy to let, you need a 20-25% deposit. It's going to be based around the rental income as opposed to your personal income. There's lots of things to bear in mind. In relation to your credit, I'd need to see your credit file. If it's still not increasing or it's going up at a very slow rate, you've obviously got issues with your credit file. It's not going to be a CCJ from over 10 years ago because that will have dropped off. So I dare say you've got missed payments or defaults or other CCJs that are the issue. So I would need to see your Check My File report, and then I can give you some pointers. Oh, look, as if by magic. Right, so Helen, I have a mortgage with husband divorcing. Can my mum be my sponsor to get the mortgage on my own? She could be what's called a joint borrower. So joint borrower, sole proprietor, yes, potentially. Obviously, with it being your mum, you might be limited to term based on her age, or we've only got one lender where they don't care about the joint borrower's age. Helen, if you need some help, drop me an email. Ryan Shepherd, is it possible to get a mortgage for a house bought at auction? It is, but what you have to bear in mind is timescales. And if you buy an auction, you could well have 28 days to exchange and complete. And doing that with a mortgage can be difficult, or it's not impossible, more difficult. That's why a lot of people will buy cash at auction. Laws, I have around 1,200 quid in debts. I'm paying off. Once paid, how long would I need to? You don't need to wait. If you've got debts and you paid them off, some lenders will just accept that they're being paid off and not take them into account for affordability. We could start looking at a mortgage now for your laws. James Wallace, will I get approved if I'm in my overdraft? Yes, but not all lenders will like it. So certain lenders will be fine. Certain lenders won't have an appetite for it. Deaf. Lovely. CMAP qualified. Are you asking me if I'm CMAP qualified? No, I didn't do CMAPs. I did what's called the FP qualifications, and I did them about 20 odd years ago. It's the equivalent of CMAP, but it's for financial advisors as opposed to just mortgage brokers.
What a username.
Deaf. I bet you're dressed in black.
As him.
Says me, Andy. Maybe it's me, deaf.
I'm colourful underneath, I tell you.
Casper, would a first-time buyer be accepted with a 5% deposit most of the time? Depends on credit rating. If you've got a good credit rating, yes. Ryan Shepherd is hammering the comments. Thank you, Ryan.
Go for it.
Would it be viable to get a bridging loan for a house bought at auction, then get a mortgage? 100%. Obviously, with a bridging loan, again, you need 25% deposit, but that's what bridging loan's for. Buying things like that at auction where you need to be quick, or properties that aren't mortgageable. Nicole Emery. I'm newly self-employed. How long can I wait before putting in a mortgage application? Well, you need 1 year's books minimum. A lot of lenders will require 2, but we have got a few that'll do it with 1 year. Laws, thank you, my man. Class advice, can I reach out to you? 100%. My beautiful assistant has just put my email in my comments. Drop us an email. Yasmin, my dad wants to buy a second home for me and I'm paying the mortgage. What would advise? Why are you not just buying it yourself? Would be my question. Yeah, give me some more information. Why does your dad need to buy it? Why can't you go on the mortgage in somewhere? Cheers, but
We got a question.
Go for it.
I'm 61 this year. My husband is 59. Are we able to get a mortgage? We currently have a mortgage, but we want to move.
Yeah, it depends when you retire. So obviously you're going to be more limited with term. But if you're not planning on retiring until say 75, you might be able to do a 14-year term. If you've got income into retirement, there's lenders that will go to age 80. So yeah, there's options. Just need to look at your options.
Thank you.
Olivia Tutu. Do you help with adverse credit, and do you do lenders with help with 10% share instead of 25%? Are you talking about shared ownership, or if so, yeah, we've got lenders that'll do 10% for shared ownership, and yes, we have a lot of clients with adverse credit. So yes and yes. Olivia Tutu, drop me an email. Dennis Muzulu. Probably not saying that right. In fact, I've missed a couple out here. Oh shit. Oh no, I haven't. Are we going to see a drop in interest rates? Hopefully, yes, Dennis. But who knows? Fresh Escapes. What mortgage do I need to use my brother's income? It's called a joint borrower, sole proprietor. Fresh Escapes. If you need some help, drop me an email. Danny Taylor. Hi, mate. So I rent off my dad. Mortgage Advice Bureau say we would only get 100 grand lend. House is worth 130. We know deposit. So are you buying off your dad and your dad is gifting you the equity? Danny, what's your income? Yes, I am. Sorry, shared ownership. Olivia, drop me an email. That's fine. Ollie boy, my mortgage term is 33 years. Can I change this to 40 to 50 years? You could potentially change it to. You asked me this morning, man, and I answered it. You could potentially extend it to 40 years if you're young enough. There's no lenders that I know of that'll go to 50 years. Yo, bought a house with wife 5 years later, divorced, got nothing. What can I get back? Speak to a solicitor. I am not a solicitor. James Webb, I've got a 40 grand deposit for a 170 house. Our credit is not the best. Would we stand a chance at a mortgage? Well, got a 23% deposit, so yeah, providing it's affordable. James, we'll have lenders for you. Drop me an email. Ash K, got 200 grand, sold house. What can I do with it? If you want to send me over my bank details, just fire it over. I'll look after it here. If I had 200 grand, I would either buy another house or I would buy another house and I'd invest it in investment ISAs and unit trusts. That's just me. Ash, if you need some help, drop me an email. I can put you in touch with my financial advisor. Yasmin, my credit is poor. Could I still get a mortgage if he gives me 20% deposit? Yes. Yasmin, drop me an email. We'll have options for you. Casper, is Monzo a credible bank account when going for a mortgage? Some lenders don't like the online banks for direct debit details. Monzo's pretty big, so I think it'd be accepted by most of them, to be honest. If you've got a normal account, surely to God you've got a normal one as well. Just use the other one. Karen, planning on buying next year, would you be able to look at my credit report and advise what needs? 100%, Karen. Drop me an email. Louis, how long do bank statements have to be clear for when you've got bad credit? If you've got bad credit, what's your bad credit, Louis? Because typically your bad credit's not on your bank statements, unless it's like gambling or overdraft or fees from your bank. Usually your bad credit is on your credit report. So yeah, let me know what you mean. Stephanie Rick asks, should I do product transfer through mortgage provider or broker? Like I've said before, I've done several last week where we've been able to get cheaper rates than the client could go in direct. Drop me an email, we can have a look into it for you. What have you got to lose? Bugger all. Karen, needs to be done to get me in the best position. What was your previous question? Oh, right, yeah. Drop me an email, we can go through options. Paul Jakes, credit rate is 3,450 due to living abroad 3 years, back 2 years now. Got 15k deposit. Can I get a mortgage? You're just being straight with you. You're probably going to need a bigger deposit with a credit rating like that. But it depends what you're buying. If you're buying a house for 100 grand, you've got 15% deposit. You might be okay, but I would have thought you're going to need a bigger deposit. Just got to remortgage with people. Money, any good? Never heard of them. Don't know. They're not. Purple money. Purple money. Let's Google them. Purple money.
I've heard of purple money. Purple bricks, not purple
I was
money.
just going to say, are they linked to purple bricks? More about us. Loans, savings, and deposits. Didn't know if they did mortgages.
Is it part of purple bricks?
Purple money's American.
Oh.
Never heard of them. Are you in America by any chance? Where are we up to? No idea. What does approval in principle in writing means? L Savage. L Savage, are you friends with Def? So a approval in principle is basically when you run everything past the lender, they do a soft credit check and affordability check, and then you get a certificate saying how much you can borrow. That's the stage that you want to get to, and that's as far as you can get before you find a property. If you need help with getting yours sorted, please drop us an email. What are you laughing at, Joyful?
Yeah, delivery.
Louis. So yeah, just gambling, but thought maybe my bad credit score would affect it. Yeah, it will. Bad credit score and gambling, lenders aren't going to like that. So you need to knock the gambling on the head with your bank account. 3 to 6 months, minimum 3. Hutch GS, what about a transfer saying apology for overfeeding the hamster? I'm sure underwriter will find the funny side of that. Is your hamster fat? Hello, mate. What fees would I have to pay to swap one of my properties from personal to limited company? So it just depends on the lender. We could well find a lender that will do free val, free legals. There might not be an arrangement fee. There could be a lender based on your circumstances that charge a valuation fee, a legal fee, an arrangement fee. We would charge a broker fee. It just depends. we could well get near enough all of it for free and just a broker fee. I'd need to know more information. Dano, do you think interest rates will come back down? I think we'll come back down a bit, but don't know. Chris isn't clairvoyant. Louis, what credit score do you need for a deposit of 10 to 15%? It's more about what's on the credit file as opposed to the score. I would say 10 to 15% over 600, 5 to 600, but it's more. We've got lenders that will do a 15% deposit, but it depends like what the adverse is, when it was, how much it is, that kind of thing. LJ, what was your previous comment? I can't be scrolling back. But
instead of purple money, she meant pepper money.
Ah, yeah, pepper. I was going to say purple money. Yeah, we use pepper money a lot. I've got a remortgage coming up in September. How will I know what rates will be available to me? Drop me an email. Simples. Ash K, Joy Evans. Hi, Ash K. I've put house for sale, self-employed, 200 grand. That's 2 million.
No.
At Joy Evans. Hi, Ash K. I've put house for sale, self-employed, 2 million. Can I get mortgage under 7,000? Doesn't make sense, but we've Everton. Hi. From experience, he may have a clearer view. Liam Lazenby, yo, what's the projections for rates in mid-25? Jesus Christ. Give me a break on the rate questions. Kate, will lenders consider a notice of correction on a credit score, or will this not make a difference? Some lenders will be fine with it, some lenders won't. Tony Miffy, why can't they just lend more easily and print more money? I don't know. Drop Rishi an email. Probably, what's your views on Help to Buy for first-time buyers? I hate Help to Buy. I think it gets people in properties they can't afford, and then they have problems later down the line. Don't like it. Help to Buy ISA, where they're going to give you 25% extra for putting your money in an ISA. I think that's fantastic. Dano, it's difficult to buy a property where I live. Where do you live, Dano? Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. You're welcome. Jen, house I rent is valued at 160, ownable sell for 130, have 20 grand deposit, both newly self-employed. Any hopes? Yeah, drop me an email. Louis, if you're buying from your parent, how much can they gift you? As much as they want, Louis. Depends how nice they are. I didn't get anything from mine.
Oh, poor you.
Right. Mihai, we live and work in London, but we want to buy a house in Northern Ireland. Possible. Can you work remotely, or is it going to be a second property? Need a bit more information. Andy Lanky, is it easy to remortgage and take equity out to the house to fund an extension? Yes, providing the affordability is there and providing the equity is there. Katie Dixon, can you move home, new mortgage whilst on maternity leave with savings to cover until return to work? Some lenders will be fine with it, some won't. As long as you've got a return to work letter and you're going back on the same terms as before, you'll be fine. Border of South London and Surrey, yes, it's going to be dear, isn't it, mate? What about shared ownership as an option? Can you take money out can you take money out against my mortgage at 41? Yeah, of course you can. Again, providing the equity's there, providing you've got affordability, yeah, that's fine. Way of life, clothing, mini. I need to switch to buy to let, but only have 15% equity. What can I do? Maybe get a consent to let until you've either paid some money off or the equity's gone up. Other than that, sell. Amanda Regan, buy to rent. How long is the process? Honestly, don't know. Can you get a mortgage with a car loan? You can, but the loan could well affect your affordability and affect what your maximum loan could be. Andy Lanky, house is worth 290 and we have 120 grand mortgage. Can we get 70 grand for an extension? Yeah, so your income would need to be provided you've got no dependents, no credit commitments, your income would need to be about 43, 44 grand. So if that adds up, yeah, drop me an email, we can have a look at it for you. Ben Robertson, looking to buy another house, but keep the one I have, rent it out. How do I do it? It's called a let to buy. So you'd be letting yours out to buy another one. Again, Ben, if you need some help, drop me an email. Shifty Hands, hello. How long are we staying on for, Joy?
About another 5 minutes, maybe.
Okay. We've got 90 grand deposit and a combined income of 5k per month, and the repayments are still around 1,600 quid. Okay.
Is there a question?
Thank you for that. Extend the term, borrow less. Becky Ogden, I need to remortgage and it's the first time. Do you have any tips? Do it sooner rather than later. We do all our clients sort of 6-7 months before the product end date. We search the market, we check the current lender, and we see what's best. Becky, if you've not done it before and need some help, drop me an email. If you have 5k in credit card debt, but pay it off in full and leave them all empty for 6 months, what's the next bit? Will lenders approve this? Yeah, of course they will, because it's paid off. Even if you're gonna pay it off, some lenders would disregard it anyway. It doesn't have to be fully repaid. It's just if it's going to be repaid, they'd be fine with it. Kanat, how much down payment do you need for a 200 grand house? Depends on your credit rating. It could be as little as 5%. It could be as much as 25%. I'd need more information. Chris ain't no mind reader. Davo234, when coming to the end of a 2-year variable, am I getting a new mortgage or just changing the terms? It depends. You could look to remortgage to a new lender, or you could look for a product transfer with the same lender. You'd need to assess all the options, Davo. Again, if you need some help, drop me an email. Jade Bauer, can you get a mortgage after coming out of an IVA? Yes, you can, but you're going to need a big deposit, 25-30%. Who would lend next door to a petrol station? We'd have to run it past lenders and see what their appetite for that is. Obviously, some lenders aren't going to like it, but some will be fine with it. Deal coming to an end. Best way to switch without having to credit check. Product transfer. Drop me an email if you need some help. Jade, you're welcome. Right, let's do 2 more minutes and then we're going to go. The numbers on the others are absolutely shocking. Absolutely shit. Pardon my French.
TikTok is definitely leading the way, people.
For lives, 100%.
It's leading the way.
Lacey Kelly, if you have a limited company that hasn't been in profit for the last 2 years, we just take it a wage. Would that go against us? With some lenders, yes. With some lenders, they won't be bothered. They're going to look at they're going to want to know why, and they're going to want an explanation around it. But as long as there is an explanation, and as long as you've got an income, that'll be fine. Just on, oh no, yeah, that's fine. Daniel Seymour, could you get a mortgage with no deposit at all, full-time job, good credit rating? Yeah, there's one lender that will do it with 0 deposit, but there's a hell of a lot of criteria that you've got to meet. Have you rented for longer than 12 months? There's about 7 or 8 bits of criteria that you would need. Again, drop me an email, I can forward you the criteria. So 1 or 2 more minutes and then I'm going for some dinner. Aaron, do all residential mortgages have an early repayment charge? No, trackers don't tend to. Obviously, if you're on a variable rate, that doesn't. It's typically when you're in like a rate, like a fixed rate, that you would have an early repayment charge. Cherie Allen, right here, right now, 2 or 5 year fixed term. 2 year for me. Thank you, mate. Will do. No problem. Right. Is there anything else on any of the other platforms? Joyful?
Not a single sausage.
It's a lot of crap.
Not a single sausage. Might
Is
put
it-
a post out on these pages later asking if they still want a 12 o'clock.
Yeah, or an 8 o'clock.
Yeah, well, I'll do a poll.
I might as well just do TikTok every day. TikTok's miles better for house. Is it better to pay more off earlier on in my mortgage? If you overpay, it's going to come directly off the capital. If you reduce the term, then obviously you're going to pay less interest. It depends on your circumstances. Speaking to your colleague earlier after your live last night, thank you. Speaking to your colleague already after your live last night, thank you. You're welcome, Pancakes. Who was it? Was it Sarah, Ree, or Laura? P, if I have an IVA but it's not on credit report and comes out of different bank account, yeah, the banks have lots of other systems other than credit reports, so I'd be careful about that. Just because it's not on your credit report, the banks have access to other systems. They'll know that you're on it, and if you don't disclose it, potentially mortgage fraud. Where are rates at the minute? Where end?
We're end of our 2 year in June.
Thanks, Joyful. Lucy, you should have been looking to remortgage sort of end of December, January time. That's where we would have been. Last 2 or 3 weeks, rates have been going up. So obviously, if you'd have locked in January, you'd have got a cheaper rate than we can get now. That's not to say between now and June they'll come down a bit more. So again, if you need some help, drop me an email. Can you buy houses with crypto yet in the UK? No, you can't. Jack Harvey, if I want to sell my house and buy a cheaper one, how do I do that? Ring an estate agent and ask them to come and value it, get on the market, sell it, go and buy a cheaper one. You may have some penalties to pay on the mortgage if you're in a fixed rate. If you're repaying some of the mortgage, you might have to pay some penalties, but it's as simple as that. Right. Literally when it gets to 50, I'm going. So if you've got any last questions, get them put on because I'm going in literally the next 60 seconds. Jack, you're welcome.
What are you having for your lunch?
Chili beef and rice.
Ooh.
Do I pay stamp duty? Give me a clue. On what? What are you? Are you a first-time buyer? Are you a home mover? Are you buying a buy-to-let? Are you buying residential? Give me some information. As a first-time buyer, buy-to-let landlord. Yeah, you will. How much tax do you pay on selling a home and downgrading? None, because it was your residential house. Can you pay weekly be better? No. No lenders pay weekly. Landlord, no other property. Yeah. Is 4.6% for a 70% loan to value good remortgage rate? Sounds all right, yeah? Not helpful. Okay, thanks, Georgia. I said that you would pay stamp duty, so is that not helpful because it's not the answer you wanted, or not helpful because I answered your question? I keep shortening the length of my mortgage. Good move. I went from 39 to 19. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you could afford to pay it, fantastic. What I always say to people is sometimes it might be better to keep the term the same but overpay, which has the same effect. But yeah, you've knocked 20 years off your term, so it's amazing. How much profit you need to show for 300 grand mortgage for self-employed? Around 67, 68,000 if you've got no debts and no dependents. Right, I'm going because I'm hungry.
Okie dokie.
Later. Georgia, mate, sorry I wasn't helpful. I'll try harder next time. If you need some help, drop me an email. Joyful, thank you.
I felt like I've done nothing, but thanks.
Well, you need to do some homework on the other stuff because those numbers are terrible,
Yeah.
other than TikTok.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to end this TikTok so I can carry on speaking to you a minute.
I'll end the stream. Thanks for the 6 people that have watched. Bye.